Imagine a time when Japan was ruled not by emperors, but by sword-wielding warriors who commanded absolute loyalty and shaped the nation for nearly 700 years. This is the story of how the samurai emerged from the shadows and their leaders, the shoguns, became the true rulers of Japan. The birth of the samurai. During Japan's Heian period, which began in 794, the imperial court in Kyoto was losing its grip on the distant provinces. The elegant courtiers were more interested in poetry and ceremonies than governing, leaving a power vacuum in the countryside. Into this void stepped bands of warriors known by various names: Bushi, Suamono, Musha, and eventually samurai. These weren't rebels or bandits, but hired swords contracted by the imperial court and noble families to maintain order in the provinces. Think of them as medieval security contractors, who gradually realized they held all the real power. The samurai's strength came from something the court lacked: fierce group loyalty, military discipline, and the willingness to use violence to solve problems. While court officials debated, the samurai acted. They managed vast rice lands in eastern Japan and built networks of warrior families bound by personal oaths of loyalty. The Gempei War and Minamoto Yoritomo's rise. The turning point came in 1180 when two powerful warrior clans, the Minamoto and the Taira, clashed in what became known as the Gempei War. This wasn't just a family feud. It was a struggle for control of Japan itself. Minamoto Yoritomo, who had spent 20 years in exile after his father's defeat, seized his chance. From his base in Kamakura, south of modern Tokyo, he built a formidable military organization. Unlike the Taira, who tried to play court politics in Kyoto, Yoritomo focused on creating a purely military government. By 1185, Yoritomo had crushed his rivals and stood as the undisputed military leader of Japan. But he wasn't content with just winning. He wanted to institutionalize warrior rule forever. The birth of the shogunate. Yoritomo's masterstroke was creating a parallel government structure that bypassed the imperial court entirely. He appointed his own officials, Shugo and Jito, throughout Japan's provinces. These weren't court appointees, but samurai warriors loyal only to him. In 1192, Yoritomo received the title that would define Japanese governance for centuries: Shogun, short for Sei Shogun, or barbarian-quelling generalissimo. While the emperor remained in Kyoto as a figurehead, the shogun in Kamakura held real power. This system was revolutionary. For the first time in Japanese history, military men openly ruled the country. The Kamakura shogunate had been born, and with it, the age of the samurai. 7 centuries of military rule. The shogunate system proved remarkably durable, evolving through 3 major periods. The Kamakura period saw the establishment of samurai rule and successful defense against Mongol invasions in 1274 and 1281, the famous kamikaze, or divine winds that destroyed the invasion fleets. The Ashikaga period moved the capital back to Kyoto, but struggled with weak central control as regional lords called daimyo fought for territory in an era of constant warfare. The Tokugawa period created the most sophisticated military government, ruling from Edo with an iron fist that brought peace, but also isolation from the outside world. The end of an era. The samurai shogun system finally ended in 1868 with the Meiji Restoration, when a new generation of leaders restored imperial rule and began modernizing Japan. But for nearly 7 centuries, these warrior rulers had shaped Japanese culture, values, and identity in ways that persist to this day. The rise of the samurai and shoguns represents one of history's most successful military takeovers. What began as hired security for aristocrats evolved into a sophisticated system of warrior governance that defined Japan for centuries. The samurai didn't just fight. They created a new form of government, a new social order, and a warrior culture that continues to fascinate the world today. From provincial enforcers to national rulers, the samurai's journey to power shows how military strength, when combined with political vision and organizational skill, can reshape an entire civilization. The age of the samurai may have ended, but their legacy as Japan's warrior rulers remains one of history, its most compelling stories of transformation and endurance. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to learn more about ancient Japan, stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching.